Hello, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are on this beautiful planet of ours. Welcome to Sustainability in Your Ear, the podcast conversation about accelerating the transition to a sustainable carbon neutral society. I'm your host, Mitch Ratcliffe. Thanks for joining the conversation today. We're going to be talking small business. As the global plastics crisis intensifies, choking oceans, polluting food chains, and impacting human health, a new wave of change makers is attempting to step up to rethink our relationship with plastic. We're going to be talking with Simona Paganetto. She's the founder of I'mPlasticFree.com, and she's trying to figure it all out as she goes, learning the ins and outs of online marketing while building a platform that connects conscious consumers with brands committed to ditching plastic. And what started out for her as her own search for plastic alternatives has evolved into a curated directory of nearly 150 vetted brands. But Simona's real strength lies in her willingness to experiment, make mistakes in her own life, and share the messy realities of building both a business and a movement from scratch. Today, we're going to explore what it's like to bootstrap a mission-driven venture while still mastering the digital marketing skills needed to grow it. And we'll dig into the challenges of scaling solo, the trial and error process of finding your audience, and how staying curious rather than having all the answers might be the key to creating a lasting change in the fight against plastic pollution. Whether you're just plastic curious or already committed to a zero-waste lifestyle, Simona's journey will offer refreshing takes on environmental activism. It's imperfect, evolving, and absolutely authentic. You can follow her work at I'mPlasticFree.com. That's I am, just the two letters, I'mPlasticFree.com. All one word, no space, no dash. We're going to get to the conversation right after this brief commercial break. Welcome to the show, Simona. How are you doing today?
I'm very good, Mitch. Thank you for the invitation.
Well, thank you for joining us. And can you tell everybody where you're speaking to me from? Because this is a global conversation.
Yes, absolutely. I'm speaking from the Sunshine Coast in Australia, which is close to Brisbane.
Ah, okay. Well, the Brisbane Heat's my favorite cricket team. Uh, what inspired you to start I Am Plastic Free? Was there a personal experience that motivated your commitment to a plastic-free lifestyle and the idea of creating a business around it?
Yes, it was. And it all started pretty much 11 years ago. I had left a promising career in medtech, in the medical device industry in Switzerland. And I landed in Australia, in regional Australia, because I married an Australian. And here I was in a beautiful 5,000 people town called Early Beach, and I had to reinvent myself. And I started volunteering for a local non-for-profit, going out to the beautiful Whitsunday Islands, which are close to the Great Barrier Reef. And I started to volunteer for cleaning up those islands from plastic pollution.
Hmm.
And yes, that went on every month for several months. And it was back then that I started to realize how much plastic pollution was a problem of the whole world and not just of developing countries, as I initially thought before becoming acquainted with the issue. But it wasn't only back until 2018, roughly, that this problem became actually on the global stage. Remember that video with the turtle and the
Hmm.
straw stuck in the nostrils? Yes. So it was then back then that I started to wanted to create a business for plastic pollution. And when I started first with telescopic stainless steel straws, which I imported from overseas, and I started selling them on global on famous marketplaces like
Hmm.
Amazon, etc. But I quickly realized that I couldn't compete with overseas seller, and that wasn't really a profitable business model that I could scale. And so here I go. Later on, I decided to create a third-party vendor marketplace for plastic-free products because I thought that to truly fight plastic pollution, we need to fight it at the source. We need to find products that are low carbon, low waste, redesigned into their waste, and possibly also plastic-free. And so here I go. I went to redesign this marketplace and I launched it, unfortunately, with a very bad timing. When I launched this marketplace, it was the middle of the global pandemic And
Mhm.
there could have been any worse moment to launch a third-party vendor marketplace for plastic-free products. And so it took me a little bit to realize that it wasn't the right moment. I didn't have the right capital, the financial resources to be able to scale a marketplace like that. And I didn't have the capital as well. And so pretty much that idea also failed. So I had to reinvent the business model if I wanted to continue.
Mhm.
And then I met someone from the US actually, who is an expert in search engine optimization. And he said to me, well, you've done already so much work within this. You have a .com domain and you've written already very good articles. Why don't you pivot into a platform for plastic-free products, but based on the affiliate marketing business model? And then I thought it was a genius idea. And I thought I had again the sparkle into my head, that my vision maybe could become reality. And
Mhm.
so I went ahead, and then at the end of 2022, I relaunched in the current format that it is today as a platform for non-toxic plastic alternatives.
So Earth 911 relies a little bit on affiliate revenue as well. It's not an easy business. Tell us about what you do on a regular basis to make it an attractive place to learn about living without plastic.
Yes, you're right. It's not an easy business model. It's not also not like a get rich quickly business
No,
model.
definitely not.
Exactly. If it wasn't for the passion, actually, I should have probably not gone into this type of business. But what I found was that having spent a decade in medical devices helped me reading studies. And I found that by doing the research and writing research-based article and linking them to studies published in peer-reviewed journals,
Hmm.
this is what people wanted to read. They wanted to see the facts. They wanted to see the claims backed by studies. And then after this, basically, I started testing products, buying products, recommended products, and people started to write to me more and more. And I saw a spike, also an increase in interest in the topic, not just because of plastic pollution as an environmental issue,
Hmm.
but also about microplastic pollution and a human health issue. I see a lot of people that are now starting to become more and more aware because they are scared about their health and want to do something to reduce their microplastics exposure risks. And I think this is where the platform has taken a lot of traffic from and a lot of growth.
So you've currently got a directory of about 150 curated brands. So how do you select those brands to appear on the platform? In other words, what makes a product truly plastic free, or at least sufficiently plastic free to be qualified?
Yes, yes. We have developed a framework of values. There are criteria basically that we use when we vet the brands. And these are, for example, zero waste, plastic free,
Mhm.
or they have to be palm oil free. But we also look at the social impact. It needs to be the business needs to be ethical, cruelty free, possibly obviously creating products also that are toxin free. So how do I do all of this? I look at the certifications of these
Mhm.
products and businesses. I have a list of several certifications on the website and that I'm about to update. And I also look, for example, at databases that are already existent, so I don't reinvent the wheel. There are very good databases, especially also in the US and Europe, that have already tested different ingredients of cosmetics. For example, Made Safe is one of them, but there are others like the EWG website or the Beat the Microbead website in Europe. And so every time I check products, I check the ingredients in this type of databases. So these are all kind of tools that I use to vet the brands. And of course, I also go back to the brands themselves. I ask questions. I ask for certificates sometimes, for example, for microplastic-free salt. I went back to the brands and asked for the third-party labs for the products. So this is how I do my best to select the brands that At least I've also designed products that are not just non-toxic, but they've gone one step more and design waste out of their product packaging. For example, I have some dishwashing liquid that instead of being liquid, actually it is powder.
Hmm.
So it doesn't have any water, it is waterless, and therefore not having water, you're removing a lot of weight and a lot of carbon footprint. And so all you have to do is take those sachets, which are made in home compostable packaging, and they're certified by an Australian standard. And you place hot water into a bottle. And so here you have your dishwashing liquid, which is low waste, low carbon, and also home compostable, so plastic free.
So we have climbed many of the same mountains in terms of trying to do this vetting of products. Do you find that brands are open to this kind of scrutiny? Are they helping you, or do you find that you have to go digging to find the information yourself?
Usually they help me. Yes, that's what I found. At least those brands that I vetted into the marketplace, they are quite cooperative, I would say. Maybe because they've got an interest as well in coming onto the platform. But I haven't found any issues in this regard. Of course, if there is something that happens along the way, for example, I found in a plastic in a kettle that one part was coming in contact with the hot water, and I was recommended kettles where the interior doesn't come in contact with the hot water. One of the readers also mentioned this to me, and so to be transparent, and when I went back into the article and I disclosed that little O-ring that was coming in contact with the water. So it's, yeah, um, every time there is something that is an update, I try to be very transparent and
Mhm.
inform the readers about it.
So I'm curious, if you have you recommended a product that later turned out to be less sustainable? I mean, to a degree, you just described that, but does that disclosure then help you maintain trust and establish transparency with your audience?
Yes, absolutely. And there was a product from a brand, and the brand was led to believe that the packaging was biodegradable, but unfortunately it wasn't biodegradable. And so, yes, I had to go back and change everything onto regarding that packaging on the article. So sometimes it does happen. There is also a lot of learning curve, I think, for a lot of manufacturers where they when they try to design out waste out of their packaging. And it's not an easy challenge. And I do
Oh,
understand also because I try to create a product myself. It's particularly if you need that barrier for life shelf time, it's hard to find something that gives the performance, but at the same time is home compostable.
that's an important distinction. It's one we always have to explain, the difference between home and industrially compostable material. The home material can go into a compost bin and achieve a heat that's sufficient to break down without being placed into an industrial compost row because that reaches a much higher temperature and can break down more. Do you find that that kind of nuance is still difficult to convey to people, or at this point,
Yeah.
are your readers starting to get the idea that there's a series of steps involved in the totality of the environmental impact of the product they're using?
Yes, it's a great question. Some of the readers are, I would say, quite well advanced, but usually it's also because they work in sustainability themselves.
Hmm.
But I would say maybe the average person that is not involved in this type of topics, they don't know exactly the difference. And this is where I recommend to the readers to look at least at the standards on the packaging. If they just see a claim that says biodegradable here and that without having any standards mentioned on the packaging, that's already a little bit like an alarm, I would say. It's not that easy to navigate, I understand. And so at least having those seals of certifications helps the consumer trying to understand which product at least have gone through the process of this certification according to a standard for biodegradability and compostability.
Hmm. Is there a misconception that people have about going plastic free that you wish that they understood? I mean, something like it's more expensive, or that your food is not as safe. What would you like people to change their mind about first in order to begin this journey?
Oh, yes, there are a lot of misconceptions. Actually, one that I always get asked or get commented on social media is, for example, oh, you can't be plastic free. Everything is made of plastic. So what are you typing from? Is your keyboard not made of plastic? So just as an example. And of course, um, it's obvious that you can't go completely 100% plastic free, that a lot of products are made of plastics, but this is not the core issue. What I'm trying to achieve by having founded I'm Plastic Free is at least offering alternatives where it's possible. And the reason of doing this is one area is the environment. Of course, we want products that are as much as possible low waste, low carbon, and also plastic free, that you can turn back into nature without creating microplastics. But on the other hand, there is the whole microplastics issue. And the reason of also going plastic free is in order to safeguard your health. So I
Hmm.
can give some examples. For example, if you look into your kitchen, if you're still using a, a pan that is coated with Teflon and it's all scratched, I would recommend not to use that any longer. And
Yeah.
this is well proven, that it's not good for your health. And I don't mean to throw away everything that you have and buy everything brand new. That's not the idea. The idea is usually you utilize what you have until the end of life, and then when that product is not available anymore, at least I help people and redirect people on how to buy a product that lasts a long time and it's safe for you. And other recommendation is, for example, for tea bags. We know that there is plastics in certain types of tea bags. So why not changing to, for example, organic loose leaf that you use them with a strainer?
Right.
So I flip a bit the conversation, and this is where I think I'm plastic free is useful, to try to spark those conversations about products and maybe ingredients, food that you'd even think that might have plastics and might be not so great for your health in the long run.
So I think you're making an important point. This distinction between durable plastics and single-use plastics, or very limited-use plastics. And so the first step for you is to look for that packaging that's going to be used once and be thrown away. Is that where, if I'm a consumer that you're talking with, you would suggest I pay attention first?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, that's exactly what I say. Never go cold turkey. Just try to eliminate single-use plastic from your life. That is the first step. And I've also built a guide on how to remove, for example, 10 items that are single-use plastics. And that is good, usually not just for the environment, but also for your health. And I'll give you an example. Instead of using, for example, the coffee cups that you buy from the takeaway coffee and so on, you can bring your reusable cup, a stainless steel cup or a ceramic cup. And that is good both for the environment, by still reusing your cup, and also for your health, because it's proven that those takeaway cups release microplastics every time you use them. Why? Because they're lined with usually HDPE plastics. It's just an example, but removing single-use plastics from your life helps the environment as well as your health.
This is a great place to take a quick commercial break. We're going to be right back with the conversation with Simona Paganetto. All right, let's get back to the conversation with Simona Paganetto, who founded IamPlasticFree.com, or you would read it as I'mPlasticFree.com. And it's growing a site to provide shoppers with more than 150 plastic-free alternatives to traditional consumer products at this point, but wants to go much further. Simona, when you think about your interaction with consumers, what are the biggest psychological barriers people face when trying to go plastic free? I mean, I remember when there wasn't a lot of plastic, and now it's a given in our lives. What are people afraid of when, in terms of making a change?
Yes, I think there are a lot of psychological barriers because plastics is absolutely everywhere. And sometimes people feel overwhelmed. They don't know where to start. They don't know where to start because everything is made of plastic. But what I say is just select maybe one item. You can start with one item a month that you can switch. I would give you an example. You can switch your plastic toothbrush with a bamboo toothbrush at least. And then once you have already done that step, you go on to your next item. And you might go, instead of selecting one item a month, you might select one item every 2 weeks, and then maybe one item every week. And that brings you into a path where by the end of the year, you have done a lot of swaps and you achieve a lot of progress into your plastic-free and zero waste journey. And yes, one argument is that they say, you know, plastic-free products are expensive, but you don't always have to buy new products. You can keep wherever you can. For example, I keep in my car a coffee cup that is simply made out of a mason jar. It used to be a mason jar. Then I put some uh, rings around in order not to get too hot when I drink the coffee. And that stays always in my car and it's ready to be used whenever I need it. It's just an example that you don't always have to buy new. You don't always have to spend money to be sustainable and to safeguard your health.
Now, in April, the Banksia Foundation named I'm Plastic Free the winner of a National Sustainability Award in Australia. I'm wondering, how has that changed both the public visibility of the site for the audience and your perceived potential among financial backers? How's the business been evolving as a result?
Yes, it was an amazing experience. The Banksia Foundation had the 36 National Sustainability Award this year, and never in my life I thought that I would be one of the winners with the Banksia People's Choice Award, which was pretty much voted by the people and represented an award that for a company that has established a good connection with the community. And so I was extremely proud of that award. That allowed me to reach some very good PR, earned media, particularly with Australian media like ABC, SBS. And I hope that through this recognition, I can get also further recognition in the US market, which is actually my largest market.
Really?
Yes, it is. Having a .com domain means that my largest audience is coming from the US. And it's pretty much 65% of the traffic is coming from the US and also Canada. And so, yes, I hope that through this opportunity, talking today, as well as further opportunities in the future, there will be more awareness onto the US market as well.
I'm curious, do you ship from Australia, or because you're doing affiliate marketing, it will be shipped from wherever the material is produced and therefore reduce the overall impact of transport in the environmental impact?
Oh, yes, absolutely. This is actually the beauty behind affiliate marketing. The product ships where it is located. So I recommend US made product, mostly are US made products for the US consumers, so that there is also less carbon footprint in terms of transportation. Whereas to my Australian audience, I recommend Australian products. So in an article, usually when I do my research, I try to recommend several options for the US market, a few options for the UK market, and then some options for the Australian market. So I try to split the market this way so that no matter where the English-speaking audience is based, they can locate some products. And I have some products for Canadians as well.
That's incredibly diligent. Congratulations on that attention to detail. I'm curious, what have you learned about the economics of sustainable living publishing? This is something obviously that I've thought a lot about, but can you explain how you think you can grow beyond affiliate marketing to other forms of revenue that allow you to potentially go global and even serve non-English speaking audiences someday?
Yes, it is a great question, and I'm thinking about this question more and more, particularly with AI coming into play. I mean, it's a thought that every digital business should have at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And affiliate marketing is only one of the revenue streams for the platform. I also have ads on the site. I do some guest posting. I work with collaborations with the brands, for example. I have some ebooks as well on the site. And in the future, I'm thinking of expanding this section, or having like particularly different ebooks about different topics. And I'm also doing some consulting within the circular economy. So hopefully in terms of education, I can also do more in the field, and maybe expand also the field of drop shipping, which would be having products directly on my site, but only specific products, and then having them shipped directly from the manufacturers. These are the thoughts that I have so far, but I'm, yeah, as you said at the beginning, I'm still learning about, the ins and outs of the digital marketing, and who knows what will happening with AI. I will be incorporating this into my digital business as well, and maybe making suggested and personalized product recommendations in the future.
There is obviously a lot of potential there, also a lot of opportunity for the search engines or the AI companies these days to siphon off your traffic. How do you establish a one-to-one relationship with the reader? Like you said, personalized recommendations to prevent people from going somewhere else to find the information in the first place and start at I'mPlasticFree.com.
Yes, it's a great question. I think in the future, because of AI and because of a lot of content maybe being unpersonalized, robotic, I think it would be more and more important to show the human connection. And in fact, I started also a YouTube channel more recently. I wish I had started way earlier, but on top of all the social media that I already do, I show directly the products that I use. And I think this is something that my audience appreciate, because
Mm-hmm.
at least they can see, not face to face, but they can truly see the products, how I use them. They can see the interior, they can see the packaging. And I think this helps the consumer also in their choice. I will be trying to use more and more this system, and hopefully that will help having more trust with my audience. Another way also to build trust is with a newsletter, which I'm
Mm-hmm.
about to relaunch in a few days. We're starting Plastic Free July, and I'm thinking of creating guide for my readers so that they can help, thematic guide basically. They
Mm-hmm.
could be, for example, about how to reduce microplastics in your kitchen, how to reduce your exposure to microplastics in food, and having different thematic guides that might be a useful content for my audience. So this is how I hope to keep my audience engaged and loyal.
Now you've highlighted alternatives for everything from toothpaste to cleaning supplies. How do you, and this is actually a critique I've heard of Earth911 as well. How do you balance product recommendations with the risk of encouraging overconsumption, even if it's in the name of sustainability? Do you try to tease out that kind of subtlety?
Yes, it's a great question. And I understand that obviously I support my work also by having products sold.
Mm-hmm.
However, I never really push and promote so much like discounts or those campaigns that are often driven by consumer brands like Black Friday and all of those. Usually I let them those products on the site, and when the readers is ready to buy, they purchase it at their own in their own time, at their own leisure. I'm not one of those brands that is creating ads in order to urge consumers to buy more. And I also give tips and tricks on how to save money when buying those products.
Mm-hmm.
So this is how I
Do you find
balance.
that Do you find that health and cost are more important to many people than the immediate sustainability of the product? Or is that actually kind of the paradox of doing this kind of analysis?
Yes, a lot of people they say that they can't afford products that are, for example, more expensive in the first place. I'll give you an example. We have a very good bedding sheet company on our platform that are incredibly, they are made of organic cotton, and
Hmm.
even the dyes they're not made with petrochemicals. They are made with plant-based dyes. So they are of course expensive, but if you think that you're gonna have those products for the rest of your life and how many hours you spend sleeping,
Hmm.
that overtakes basically the cost that you pay for a pair of very good organic sheets that are very good even on sensitive skin, and even for people with dermatitis and all of different other conditions. So sometimes it's about thinking, yes, I'll spend more for this product, but that will last me a lifetime. They
Yeah.
give a warranty of 1 year, like lifetime warranty, for example, instead of buying every 3 or 4 months a set of bed sheets, for example. This is where I try to educate also the audience to redirect their money where it's worth, and by saving it in the long run.
Well, I'm sure that you've seen plenty of products marketed as eco-friendly that don't live up to the promise. Do you have advice based on all the research that you've done about how to spot and avoid greenwashing?
Yes, I have, because I'm a marketeer, so I see this type of claims and greenwashing also everywhere. Usually they are products that they look greener than they are. They don't have, they just have claims, but they don't have certifications. So one step is already to look at the packaging. If you see a lot of claims, sorry, and you see that the packaging is green, but there is no substance behind, I wouldn't buy the product. Often it means that it's purely marketing, and it's not really substance behind.
So would you suggest a particular certification to look for?
Yes, I think in the US it's called BCI,
Hmm.
and that's for example, this is for compostability standard. But if you're looking, for example, for cruelty-free, there is the Leaping Bunny
Yep.
certification. Yes, or GOTS, if you're looking at textile, for example. There are different certifications, that play a role depending on the product you are looking for. And usually you can Google those certifications, searched online, and they're reputable. So if you find a product that has those certification, is a good sign.
Well, what you're describing too is in all those certifications is a variety of trade-offs that people can make choices about. They can emphasize the sourcing of the material, like GOTS does, for instance, the compostability or biodegradability of the product. What do you think the most important choice one can make is to reduce their environmental impact in total rather than just with regard to their plastic? Where would you start on that journey too?
Yes. First of all, I would always say the most sustainable product is the product you didn't buy. So, which means think about it before you buy something. That is the first thing. I'm a circular economy specialist, and therefore I always think about the different R that are used in circular economy, and therefore refuse, reduce, repair,
Mhm.
repurpose, which is another one that I like. And regarding sustainability in general, there is a lot that we can do. We can walk more and take less the car. We can bike, obviously, depending on where you live. Um, if you are not already vegan or vegetarian, you can reduce already your meat intake by reducing already to once a week. You have a huge impact on the environment. There is a lot that can be done, not just within the plastic space.
That's certainly true. As we were talking about this interview, you mentioned you're applying for grants and looking for additional funding. What would you put that to use to do?
Yes, yes, it's a great question. I hope that I will be able to receive some further funding to continue this project. I will use it for market expansion. I would like to develop some new products for the platform to secure also a more sustainable future, and curate also a better collection of products. And I also hope to be able to grow the audience, maybe be into other countries, into geographical markets. Obviously, I'm bound by the English language, despite this is not my first language, as you can hear. But you never know. There could be a plastic-free in a non-speaking English-speaking country in one day.
One would hope that we go plastic free in every country in the long term, but we'll see where we go. Uh, you're on an interesting journey. How can folks follow along with what you're learning?
Yes, absolutely. You can type implasticfree.com. You can find us as well on social media, for example, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn. And if you subscribe our newsletter, you will be receiving some monthly guides on how to lower your plastic waste, as well as lower your microplastic exposure risks. So I
Well,
hope you'll follow along.
Simona, you're doing great work. Thank you very much for taking the time to talk with me today.
Thank you very much, Mitch, for the invitation. I'm very honored, and sorry about maybe missing a couple of words. It's nearly 1 a.m. here in Australia, so maybe.
We appreciate you
Yes.
staying up late for us very
No,
much. Thank you very much.
my pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you.
Welcome back. You've been listening to a conversation with Simona Paganetto. She's founder of I Am Plastic Free, or I'm Plastic Free is the way you would say it, a curated e-commerce site that helps shoppers avoid plastic packaging and single-use products. And you can visit and learn more at that's the letters I am, plasticfree.com. All one word, no space, no dash, implasticfree.com. Recent research confirms what many entrepreneurs and marketers have told us on the show. Sustainability is not the first thing that a shopper looks for in a product, but rather it comes in third in line after price and convenience. As economic confidence has plummeted this year, McKinsey and Company reported in June that sustainability is losing importance. They wrote that, quote, consumers consistently rank the quality, price, and convenience of products as more important than the environmental impact of products, unquote. And they went on to say that price and quality are now more important than in 2020, with more than 70% of respondents saying that they are the most important criteria they use when making a buying decision. Only about a third of the respondents to McKinsey's survey ranked sustainability above other factors. Nevertheless, about 40% of consumers consistently tell researchers that they're willing to pay a premium for products with reduced environmental impacts compared to traditionally manufactured alternatives. And more than 60% of younger people, in particular, are ready to pay a green premium. But that's not the good news that some claim. The challenge remains to demonstrate that sustainable products make a meaningful difference for the buyer and the planet. This story is challenging to convey briefly because it requires detailing the substantiating evidence that supports environmental claims and distinguishing them from greenwashing. We need green proof, and Simona is one of those dedicated business people investing the time to validate her store's sustainable bona fides. It's often a thankless job, one made harder by the appropriation of the lessons learned and the useful messaging developed by these pioneers by larger retailers who usually turn the lesson into a form of greenwashing. So we're slowly educating ourselves to move beyond ignoring the cost of our lifestyles to nature and future generations. While more than 85% of consumers say they want to reduce their environmental impact, they often lack awareness of the issues or struggle to find sustainable products. I'm plasticfree.com, along with Made Trade, Earth Hero, and Thrive Market, are working to document the impacts of the products they sell. And I also like to think that Earth911 helps surface useful information to help shoppers too. As more products, more travel destinations, and more services make green claims, shopping for sustainable outcomes should become easier. But supporting sources of green guidance can help us help the curators that we need to vet our choices and establish new rules of value that fully integrate environmental impacts. Take some time with I'mPlasticFree.com today and check out Earth911's How and Buy section for our guidance. We can all make a difference. It's just going to take a while to get there. And I hope you'll take a look at the other episodes of Sustainability in Your Ear that we've published. We've got more than 500 shows to share with your friends, your family, your coworkers. Writing review, by the way, on your favorite podcast platform will help your neighbors find us. Folks, you're the amplifiers that can spread more ideas to create less waste. So tell your friends, family, the people you meet on the street that they can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, and other fine purveyors of podcast goodness. Thanks for your support. I'm Mitch Ratcliffe. This is Sustainability in Your Ear, and we will be back with another innovator interview soon. In the meantime, folks, take care of yourself, take care of one another, and let's all take care of this beautiful planet of ours. Have a green day.